Welcome back to Lost Legacies. I'm Matt.
And I'm Sam.
Well, Sam, listeners, for the record, Sam and I actually worked together today, so we talked a lot. And the whole time I was thinking, this is what we should be recording today. And now I think I'm all talked out.
Geez.
I know. I do have a question, though.
Okay.
I saw this question on Instagram a couple days ago, and I don't have an answer for it. So it's a little bit unfair. But Sam, if you can tell Gen Z to watch one film, what would it be?
Oh, boy. Huh.
No pressure, but you have to get it right.
Oh, there's a right answer?
No, I don't know.
Oh. Oh, man.
Lives depend on it. Gen Z will watch whatever you recommend, and they're the way of the future, man. They're going to shape Earth's future.
I don't know. I don't think they will.
They'll watch like the 5-minute summarization video about it on YouTube.
Yeah, please, no, at least watch the 20-minute version. Come on, they get some more of the movie.
The one where they really talk about the nuance of the storyline. Yeah. You had to have been there to experience it.
Watch a freaking video essay about it. Don't just watch somebody, reacting to it. Come on now.
Okay, I'll let you think about that for a second, because I do want to bring something up. This isn't a good thing by any means, okay? But I watch all of, I find like film clips on Instagram. You could tell they usually originate from like TikTok or something.
Mm-hmm. And
it's either film or it's animated film or whatever. And it's usually super good and super dramatic. And I realize, the music playing in the background probably isn't actually in the film. It's being put over it like on TikTok. Yeah, because I think I said it to you. I don't remember, but it was this really cool, dramatic moment between Batman and Alfred in one of the animated films, and I'm like, this is rad. And I'm thinking, like, this is not the music they would put into the Batman movie, but it works and it elevates this scene so much, which sucks. I mean, it sucks because you're not watching the full film. You're just watching snippets. 2, you're not actually seeing the context of the scene you're experiencing. And then on top of that, it's edited. It's someone else's interpretation of it on how you're supposed to feel. That's why we put this music on it, So it just sucks all around. However, do you think this is somehow going to influence film in some way? We've seen the failure of like the little short, they try to do like television series, but like in little small 2 to 5 minute episodes on whatever that does. Yeah, there you go. That failed. So, but like maybe there is other lessons to take from it. I'm like, maybe I think that is a bit over dramatic, but oh man, having just really emotional copyright-free music playing, it really hits home for the scene. Like, I don't know, that's kind of inspiring for when I'm writing a scene or something. Like, okay, how can I convey my feelings to the composer? What do you need to feel in this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I guess it depends on the context. Like, I don't think it's gonna have that huge of an effect. If anything, I feel like maybe movies will be geared, certain movies, not all of them, but maybe certain movies will be more made in a style that looks good in a video edit. I don't like, I don't know, because like I don't know, like I watch a lot of like video edits and like people doing like compilations of movies throughout the year. Sometimes they're like in a top 20 list, but I used to watch this one guy on YouTube who would just take he would take any footage that of movies from that year, and he would edit it to songs that were either released or I think they were like mostly released that year too.
Hmm.
So it was always something that was very timely. So like, here's the video edit for 2012. Like, yeah, it's very 2012, you know.
Nice.
Um, and for me in my head, that just like that that made my, sort of that influenced me creatively in a way that was like, yeah, I want to I want to create something that evokes this feeling,
Hmm.
it and yeah, it's like I'll admit it, like, yeah, I want to be able to write scenes and direct scenes so that they show up in people's video edits, like, that's the shot, that's the freaking shot that we're gonna put in everything,
I mean,
you
it's kind of
know.
the same as like writing something for the trailer. Like, oh, this is totally going to be in the trailer.
100%, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know, like maybe it'll be a little bit more for that. It's like, oh, we're gonna write something for the talk,
Hmm.
Probably not, but like just
Yeah.
just something that's gonna like maybe something that's gonna be more attention grabbing, you know.
And what I've noticed about video essays is most of them, it has someone obviously talking. So they're talking through the whole thing, which means you can't really show footage of people talking because they'd be talking over each other, you know?
Hmm.
Now the narrator could stop and play like a little couple seconds of a scene or whatever, and then it cuts and then they'll continue talking. But a lot of these video edits, one that like, what makes these video edits is one, it's got to be good, it's got to be compelling. This guy can't
Hmm.
just be pulling it out of his ass, you know. Uh, but two, like the music selection, sometimes they'll use the score from the film, which is always cool. But then other times they'll use something else, and you're like, man, what was that? Especially
Hmm.
because the film score is usually copyrighted, so you have to find some kind of copyright-free
Yeah.
version, you know, or something that fits. But then also, you have to, for the footage, you have to use scenes that don't have dialogue because
Mm.
again, you don't want the actors and the narrator talking at the same time unless you turn the volume all the way down on the actors. So it's like they have to find all the really cool cinematic moments that they can cut and paste for their essay. But in reality, a lot of studio films are getting rid of that stuff because if no dialogue is happening, quote unquote, the thinking is nothing is happening,
Hmm.
you know, and that sucks, you know. So I hope that maybe some young filmmakers watching this video essay, he's like, you know what, I think I want silence in this scene I'm writing. I don't need
Mm.
dialogue. You know, he was inspired by whatever footage he was watching for that video essay. um and again, you know, I've been talking about Michael Mann a lot. I love the way he uses uh I guess silence, or not really silence, but like the way he uses score and soundtrack and then no music at all. Like it's just very deliberate, very strategic how he does it. And it's
Hmm.
really cool. And I've always loved using silence in stories, which, and I think also one of the reasons because it completely like contradicts our generation as well, the ones who were the first ones to get social media, because we're the ones who like you, I don't know, you're on your phone right now or something, you know, we could be watching someone just checks a text, someone just checks an email. I'm like, every time your eyes dart from the screen, like, what are you missing,
Hmm.
you know? And especially if there's no dialogue, it's even easier just to kind of veer
Yeah.
off, you know.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why I really love using silence, because that's why I make sure that's like the most important part. You know, I've written scripts over and over, Sam, and the more I write them, the less dialogue they have. You know, and I have one movie in particular, I absolutely love it. It's I'm trying I it's kind of a meet cute now that I'm thinking about it,
Mm-hmm.
but like it's not cute. This is the meat sexy.
Oh
Okay,
God.
this
Oh
is very
no.
passionate, but there's no dialogue. Well, technically there is dialogue, but it's set in a club, so the audience never hears it,
Mm,
and
interesting.
that's very deliberate as my on my part as a screenwriter. I'm like, it's a very intimate moment, and we're not allowed in on it.
Yeah.
You know, um, and you just got to have like really good actors who can convey what they're saying
Hmm.
visually with their faces and body language. At the time I was writing it, I was gonna be that actor. I'm a little old now, so yeah. I don't know. Maybe like a Tom Holland and Zendaya in my movie, you know?
Okay. Okay.
Unless Disney shoots me because, do you think
Where are
there's
they gonna?
something do you think there's like something in the contract like that they can't star in a movie together outside of Spider-Man?
I don't think so. I
Good.
don't. I don't see why there would be.
Good, because they're my first two choices for my film. All right. Well, anyway, um, did you figure out a movie for Gen Z?
No.
My movie that I have not made yet.
Yeah, Matt's movie. Watch Matt's movie
Yeah, I
because
have to think about it.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't know. Like, yeah, I'm always of the opinion. It's just like, look, like, watch whatever looks interesting to you, and
Yeah.
if you have a favorite filmmaker, start watching the movies that they love. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
like that. Like, yeah, that's always a good thing. Like, I just saw a TikTok earlier today that was talking about how inspired Wes Anderson was from particular early Indian filmmakers and how he's
Mm-hmm.
essentially translated that style and made it his own. And now that style is being retranslated into modern Indian cinema and other,
Mm-hmm.
other forms of cinema as well. So it's like, well, that's cool. Yeah, that's great. Like now I want
Mm-hmm.
to go watch these other movies, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
It's like
Yeah.
because like if, you're trying to evoke a feeling or convey a feeling, and it's like, oh well, these somebody else did it already. Let me see how they do it. How do they
Right.
differ? How do they compare?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and stay away from the cinephile sites. Like I was watching because I follow some of them on Instagram as well and on Twitter, but like I
Hmm.
saw this one post of like three different like cinephile accounts, and all their favorite movies were the same ones.
Hmm.
And then kind of like someone was in the comment and they're like, "Wow, all of these movies were made after 2000," and I was like, "Yeah, that's crazy."
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just that's why I like what you said. Find who you like, the directors you like, and see what they make, but also what inspired them.
Hmm.
Because it all goes back. When you see those origins, you see how they interpreted that original vision to fit theirs. Um, and when you do that, it's not copy and pasting. That's when it becomes like actual inspiration. You're like,
Hmm.
oh, okay, do that. The first movie I thought of when I saw that question was Ace in the Hole with
Is that
Kirk Douglas.
yeah, that's Kurt Douglas.
Yeah. I don't like it's not my favorite movie and it's not the best movie, but I don't know. It's just it popped into my head. And I'm thinking about it. I was like, wow, that's still very relevant because it's about this guy. I think he's a miner. He gets stuck in a hole, and Kirk Douglas plays this reporter, a journalist who's reporting on the situation, and he ends up like befriending the guy stuck in the hole and all this stuff. And like he has to find that balance between selling this as a story and respecting this man and also maybe saving him. It's just this really weird. What are you willing to do for the likes? What are you willing to do for your viewership?
Hmm.
Back in the day before there was social media, before likes were a thing, you know.
Hmm.
Is yeah, it's very very fascinating film. Yeah, I don't know. That's just the first one that kind of popped in my head, and I'm like, I guess it's relevant. So I'll say that for now.
Okay,
I don't know.
I like it.
Yeah. So
Maybe I'll think of one by the end of this podcast.
okay, well, I think everyone should watch this episode of Lost, which is the exact opposite of your feelings on it. I know. So let's get into it.
I didn't
We're
say that. Where did I
where
say
you
that?
said it was a steaming pile of crap.
I did not.
All right, we're talking about season 5, episode 3, Jughead. Desmond goes in search of a woman who could be the key to helping Faraday stop the island's erratic movements through time. Man, that's a run on sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the survivors encounter the others in 1954. Man, they could run into Indiana Jones. What would
Yeah,
Indy
they
do on this
could.
island? Yeah. Okay, man. So you already teased me a little bit. What were your thoughts on this?
Uh, like it's cool. It's good. I I think everything with see, okay. It's interesting because like there are parts and there are pieces of this episode that I'm like, this is good. Like this is the good
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But I just feel like on the whole, one, I think it's definitely a step down from even just the last episode, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um and yeah, I don't know, like I felt like there was a momentum at the end of the last episode that just isn't here in this one.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I
I
think it's
know that
because
like
that like there's entire half of a storyline that's not addressed. You know,
yeah.
none of the off island stuff is dressed on. Well, I mean, technically Desmond, but like none of the Oceanic Six. You know,
Hmm.
which is
Hmm.
like feels like a well now feels like a time bomb. Like we have 70 hours to get back to the island.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, so I feel that.
Yeah. And it's not even to say that like we're not following interesting people on the island. It just feels kind of like it's a little bit more of like the early writing or like the writing that's like we're gonna be vague about this thing, you know? And I'm
Mm,
like, guys, we're 5 seasons in, and you just put us in freaking like we're traveling through time. We're hopping through time. We're doing all this stuff. Like, this is not the time to be vague.
mm-hmm,
And yeah, I don't know. I feel that sort of like pullback of like, oh, we gotta tease people. Oh, we gotta tease them.
mm, mm-hmm.
Like we can't give them the answer yet. And I'm just like, okay, I
Hmm,
get it.
interesting.
Yeah. It was like I don't know. It's mostly just like in uh the island stuff, like Faraday. Like
Mm-hmm,
I want to know what's happening with Charlotte. Nobody's saying anything. And then I want to know, like, you know, Desmond seems like he knows some of the people that are on this island in 1954. Why does he know that? You know, like I don't.
wait, what?
Well, like the girl, the other with the gun who's like escorting him. Like, there's a moment where he's just like, man, you just really look like
Oh, Faraday.
yeah,
Okay,
Faraday.
you said Desmond. I was like, what?
Oh, sorry,
Huh?
sorry.
Okay, Faraday. Yeah. So it's still like teasing. I see what you're saying. It's still teasing little things where he says, she reminds him of someone, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I know what you mean.
And I feel like I feel like maybe this wouldn't be a problem if we knew anything more about Faraday, Charlotte, and Miles.
Right.
You know, because it's like we're following these people who were like, we know what your objective was
Mm-hmm.
here, sort of. You were
Mm-hmm.
supposed to get here, but you're not here for the survivors. You're here for the island. You know, but that's it.
Yeah,
And we were
yeah. We don't
never
really.
granted any more information outside of that. So it's like, why? Like,
Widmore sent the boat. They sent Kimi and the guys to basically get Ben and kill everyone else on the island.
yeah.
The science team I don't know. For
Yeah.
sure, for sure they were sent to shut down that gas. But was that it? Like,
Yeah. Oh
yeah.
wow, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because it was like a one-off episode and that was it.
And that wasn't even like the main plot of that episode. So it's like,
No,
oh,
no, it
this is
wasn't.
what y'all were here for?
Speaking of which, one thing I did like about this is like it finally feels like the Fantastic Four, which is now down to three, are
Hmm.
finally kind of in the lead of the story. You know, you
Hmm.
have Juliet, Locke, and Sawyer kind of doing their own thing, but it's kind of the same old for them, running through the
Hmm.
jungle. But you have the other three where it's like, oh man, like the plot's kind of following them, and like it's kind of cool to see that, you know, because like finally, like this was pretty much like a leading episode for Faraday, you
Hmm.
know, and I'm like, that was cool. We're finally getting to see more of him. Now, what they're offering with that is like, I don't know, we're getting little character moments here and there,
Hmm.
but yeah. So it is nice to kind of see them more take charge now. It only took leaving out the entire Oceanic Six storyline out to
Hmm.
give these three a shot at the spotlight.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love how my first note was in the beginning. I love where Faraday's talking to Miles about his attitude problem. He's like, "You see, Miles, that right there, that attitude is not helping." I love Faraday. He's like a modern. He kind of feels like a hippie, but he's not. Just like his expressions, you know. He's like a
Yeah.
hippie scientist almost.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, I'm just gonna go through my notes real quick. What do we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about Desmond's story or everything else on the island?
Uh
Let's do Desmond first because I feel like it's kind of the side plot. It's the B plot of the episode.
yeah, that's true.
Okay, so he goes back to Oxford to try and find Faraday or he's trying to find the lady related to Faraday.
Hmm. His mom.
Yeah, and there's no record.
Hmm.
But he finds the old lab and he finds like the surly janitor who said, "Oh yeah, something bad happened with this girl."
Hmm.
And then we see the girl later, and she's like in this vegetative state.
Hmm.
And I don't know who the lady with her is, like her sister or something.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
said she comes in and out. She's like the other day she thought she was a kid again. She was 4 years old. The other day she was talking, have a conversation with our dad who died 5 years ago. So I'm like, is this lady's brain jumping through time, kind of like Mikowski and Desmond's were?
I think so.
Except she's not shorting out. She's not dead.
Yeah. I think she's not dead because of all the instruments around her, you know?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, well, and you know, because the big thing we learn in that scene is that she's being taken care of by Charles Widmore,
yeah,
who
yeah,
funded Faraday's experiments.
yeah,
So Faraday was responsible for whatever happened, and Widmore funded him,
yeah.
you know? And so, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
So I figure it probably also has to do with the fact that like she's not on the island, you know?
that too,
Mikowski and
yeah.
Desmond, they were like full blasted, I guess, by the island powers, island radiation.
Hmm.
So this lady wasn't. So this is interesting because they said Daniel left, and you're like, what kind of man just leaves her like that? He left to the States or whatever. So I'm
Hmm.
guessing, is that when he went to the island? Like,
I don't think so. No, because we have that scene at the beginning of season 4 where he's like
oh, that's true.
he's looking at the oceanic footage of the plane under the ocean, and
Hmm.
yeah, and he does not seem in a good way, you know,
Yeah.
in that
So
scene.
some he probably did something to himself as well,
Hmm.
on purpose or accident. We don't know.
Hmm.
Wow. Okay. So maybe he wasn't in the best place to stay.
Hmm.
Hmm. But he seems better-ish now, and for Widmore to send him to the island, like
Hmm.
interesting. So also early on, we get Miles using his power as well
Mm-hmm.
to figure out, and like we don't actually see it, but we see the results. He like talks to these dead soldiers who were just buried.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how Daniel knows about it. I'm like, okay, so they're in on it. They know each other's abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's cool. So Miles obviously talks to dead people. Faraday's just super smart and has memory issues, which may be time travel related.
Yeah.
Charlotte's just rich. And Frank was the pilot. That's why he's out. He's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So like it feels like we're just kind of skipping over it a lot, but like not that much happened with the Desmond storyline. Like it was all, it implies a lot, big implications, but not a lot plot wise.
Mm-hmm.
Desmond goes, confronts Charles Widmore,
Mm-hmm.
says, "Where's Faraday's mother?" Blah blah blah, and he gives him an address in Los Angeles, and then he tells him, "Get out while you can. This has nothing to do with you or Penny."
Mm-hmm.
Desmond's like, "I don't know. I'll take your advice or under advisement. I don't know, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll keep that in mind." And he storms out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, man, because let's not forget Benjamin Linus threatened Widmore by killing his daughter. So,
Mm-hmm.
damn. But, and that's, oh, and then at the end, like they kind of conveniently, Penny understands she loves Desmond so much, but she knows he'll never give it up. So they're going to LA with him.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Mm-hmm.
how convenient.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Also, we forgot to mention, you said they're going to LA with him. Yeah, they have a kid.
They have a little baby boy
Little baby
named
Charlie.
Charlie.
Oh.
Charlie. Charlie
You,
bit me.
like I did feel like, okay, yeah, like Penny is upset at Desmond at the start of this, but it makes sense because he's been off island for 3 years, and
Mm-hmm.
the whole point was that Widmore could never know. Her
Yeah.
dad could never find out. And so
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I get it. Like, I feel, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I just feel like somewhere in there, like that's not conveyed. And so it just feels like Penny's just kind of upset because Desmond can't let this one thing go. You
Right.
know,
Yeah. It seems really weird. Like,
like she knows how powerful her father is. She knows that all of these other people have lied and been lying for the last 3 years
yeah.
just to protect people from her father. And
Yeah.
I know she's like, she kind of says a thing to that where it's like, my dad can't know that we're here,
Yeah.
when they go to Oxford. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know, like there's something in like the writing or the translation or something that's
That's
just
what I
like
was gonna say. Is
missing.
that or the directing, or I'm also wondering if like they cut a scene or two, uh,
Yeah.
just because it did play out more of like the kind of the complaining wife trope, I guess. Kind of like, okay, you have your protagonist, but then the wife is the one getting in the way.
Hmm.
Skylar in the entire first season of Breaking Bad.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, like I don't know, it just. But again, like knowing the context of the situation, that's not it at all. You
Yeah.
know, Penny's, if anyone, is the one who has her act together. So it just, yeah, I don't know what it was. There was definitely stuff missing. It maybe felt a little rushed. I don't know. I think it would have been nice to have teased some of it in episode two, because they teased it at the end of episode one, but they were not in episode two. So I
Hmm.
think it would have been nice to have a few more scenes where they're actually like debating going back or not. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I just think there's a better way to kind of tell that and convey it. So,
Hmm.
also interesting how they named their kid after both. I saw someone write on online, both the man who kept them apart and the man who brought them back together,
Hmm.
Charles Whitmore and Charlie Pace. I was like, oh wow,
I didn't even think about that.
wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's pretty much the off island stuff.
Yeah.
So no Oceanic Six. On island, they're still jumping through time. Charlotte's getting worse. Her symptoms are
Hmm.
getting worse. And I get it. Dan doesn't want her to worry. He's convinced he can save her. We're not seeing it, Dan. Like, come
Hmm.
on, man. We're running out of
Hmm.
time. So,
Now, to be fair, they are tied up and, being coerced into disarming a bomb this episode.
so this is really interesting because it turns out the military people we thought were military were actually the others.
Hmm.
But they've been fighting the military people.
Hmm.
So we didn't actually see the military people, right?
No. No,
No,
we
it
did
was
not.
all others,
Hmm.
and so they've been taking their supplies and stuff. They're wearing the uniforms, all that stuff. Uh, yeah, yeah, and I really don't know what to say about this other than like they go back to the camp, which is being led none other by Richard.
Hmm.
And as Juliet said, Richard has always been here.
Hmm.
Like, okay, okay. We're getting
Interesting.
we're getting more and more info about Richard that's like it's just barely little tidbits here and there, but just
Hmm.
her saying that like opens up so much more questions about him. Like, what do you mean Richard has always been here?
Yeah.
And he looks exactly the same as he does in modern day, you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
Man. Yeah, that's interesting. So the whole situation is Faraday and the crew, they get captured. They think the others think they're military, and apparently they've been skirmishing on this island with the military for who knows how long. And the military has a hydrogen bomb.
Hmm.
And Faraday figures out it's probably cracked or something. So that's kind of his key to stay alive. Keep us alive. We can fix it. Blah 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 blah. Meanwhile, he has like that talk with the cute blonde girl who's holding him at gunpoint.
Hmm.
He's like, I think you remind me of something, of someone, blah, blah, blah. Um, yeah, and then he actually checks out the bomb named Jughead, and this is super dangerous, but they're gonna have to bury it in concrete,
Hmm.
which is opening up a whole bunch of new questions. Like, okay,
Yeah.
okay. But he kind of like snaps at this girl. He's like, because I'm from the future and the island's still here, which means the bomb never goes off.
Hmm.
I'm like, oh damn. And I love how even Sawyer's like, you told her? Damn it. Um yeah, so that's interesting because we already have a lot of ideas about things that are buried on this island.
Hmm.
I'm thinking about the hatch. I'm thinking about whatever they teased at the beginning of the season, under the orchid, right?
Hmm.
Um yeah, I don't know. But
I'm
oh,
thinking about Nikki and Paolo,
Nikki and Paolo, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. They got buried
Hmm.
alive, buried alive. We did just kind of gloss over a very important scene when Faraday's telling Richard, he's like, "Yeah, I can check out the bomb and all this stuff." He's like, "How do we know? How do we know you're not on a suicide mission to just wipe us all out?" And he
Hmm.
says, he's like, "Because I'm in love with the woman sitting next to me, and I would do nothing. There's nothing I would do to ever hurt her." And Richard's like, I got you, cuz. And Charlotte's just like, what? Me? And then she even tells him later, she's like, you could have said anything, to convince him to trust you. And he's like, I meant every word of it, Charlotte. I'm like, oh. And Miles is just kind of like staring at them like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You
Like,
guys know I'm
great.
standing right here, right? Oh man. Um, yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Could have been. I think that the plot was there. You know, what it needed was just better writing, better like character interactions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, John met up with Richard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, of course, and the punk kid, the soldier's there who keeps threatening to shoot John with the gun, and Richard just takes it away. He's like, "No, put the gun down, Widmore."
Mm-hmm.
And John looks at him. He's like, "Widmore, Charles." He's like, "Oh, how do you know?" He's like, "Nice to meet you." It's like, "Oh my god, things are like the puzzle pieces are starting to fall into place now."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what this whole thing is, this Widmore versus Ben thing is essentially Ben versus an OG other.
Mm-hmm.
How did he get off the island?
Mm-hmm.
How did he get rich? What does he want? You know, now I understand. Well, I understand one of the reasons, like why he wants to get back. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like it was like
Now,
that's his home. Like,
yeah, could be. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Ben's whole shtick was that he was special because he's the only person who was ever born on the island, right?
right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But we find out that's not true.
Possibly. I mean, we don't know the origin of the others.
Yeah.
You know?
But no, we know it's true because Ben's dad got a job at Dharma
Yeah.
and started working there, and so they had to start living there.
Oh, yeah. We know Ben wasn't born on the island. That we know.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we don't actually know if anyone has been born there because that's the whole Julia's whole thing. Like all the mothers die before
Mm-hmm.
they give birth.
Mm-hmm.
So we still don't know the origin of the others. Like, where did they come from?
Yeah.
They were here before Dharma. They were here before the military.
Mhm.
So who knows?
Who knows?
Unless it's time travel, right? Unless they're from the present day,
Could be.
go back in time, and they give birth to their own descendants who are
Whoa.
actually, yeah, they're descendants, but their descendants are actually their ancestors. Time loop.
Oof.
Just like the compass. Like, Richard has the compass again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Time loop.
Yep.
Crazy. So John does tell Richard. So John's whole thing, the way he gets in is he tells Richard, he's like, Jacob sent me.
Mm.
He's like, oh crap. Yeah. So then they have their talk and stuff. And that's interesting because when we saw them in the past, in the 50s, Richard gave Locke the test, very Dalai Lama like, which one of these items belong to you? It wasn't Dalai Lama like at all. It was time travel. One of those
Mm-hmm.
objects actually belonged to John Locke, but in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Ah. Now, there's
Yep.
still at some point, Locke needs to find Richard again and tell him, hey, you got to find me out in the wilderness. I've been shot in the leg. You got to help me. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Because we don't actually tell him or see John tell him anything about the compass other than he gives it to him. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
He did
Uh,
tell him that in 2 years he's going to be born
yeah.
in California, and he's got to go
Yeah.
visit him. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's just very timey-wimey, crazy, racking my brain on this.
Mm-hmm. My head hurts right now.
Yeah. In the best way possible, though. But
Mm.
then the episode ends, of course, when everyone flashes back to who knows when. It doesn't look like that much time has passed because, like, the camp is gone, but like there's still like a pile of wood there. You
Mm-hmm.
know, maybe used to be bonfire. I don't know.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Is the place where the camp was, the other camp, is that where they build the houses in like the future?
I don't. I thought about it. Like I don't know.
I kind of thought it was.
Maybe
Maybe.
it could be. I mean, who
I'm
knows?
hoping so. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. But wherever
Interesting.
they are, it didn't look too far past. So
Mhm.
I like they're not back. I don't think they're back in modern day yet.
No, I don't think so. Not yet. And
But
now Charlotte is convulsing
she's
and bleeding from her
convulsing,
nose.
blood's everywhere, and Daniel's like, no, and that's where it
Mm-hmm.
ends. Like, damn
Mm-hmm.
it. I don't know anything about you, Charlotte.
I know you're rich. I know you're British. I know
Hmm.
you're looking for your home and you forgot your mom's name.
Yeah. Oh, two more red shirts died. Two more from the beach camp. They got blown up by a mine, a landmine.
Several landmines.
Oh yeah,
Is
two of them.
what
I was
it
like,
looked
dude,
like,
one
yeah.
guy didn't even move. It's like the body of the other one fell in the water, and then that blew him up. I'm like, what the?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's a landmine in the water as well. Like, I don't know.
Dang.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. Oh, and
Yeah,
apparently the others didn't set up those landmines. Oh, that's what they meant.
yeah. They thought it was the
The
military.
Americans did. The
Yeah.
military. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, damn military.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know how many beach survivors are left. They kind of had a rough estimate online
Mm-hmm.
because I think the blonde girl says there were 20 that left the camp
Okay.
or something like that. But they said it doesn't match up. She had to have been rounding because we saw a lot of bodies. And I was like, there probably wasn't someone on set actually tracking this. So we got to,
Yeah.
the movie
Yeah.
magic here. But yeah, they're saying there's probably about 20 ish left
Mm.
from the original 42 survivors.
Mm-hmm. That's not. That's not even taking into account like the people that died on the freighter.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. A few.
they
Well,
got a
no, I
lot of
mean,
people
that
off on
counts
that
them.
onto oh that counts them too.
Well, yeah, we're like they're trying to like count like how many people are actually left from 815,
Oh, okay,
and
gotcha,
it's
gotcha.
probably less than 20 right now.
Hmm.
So I'm like, wow,
You have to add a couple from the tail section, but then subtract them because
yeah, it's just Bernard.
a bunch of them die. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, dang! Is it just Bernard?
Yeah, he's the only one left because the only ones
Oh,
who made it back, Anna Lucia gone,
oh, jeez.
Libby
Mis-
gone,
Mr. Echo
Mr. Echo gone.
gone. Yeah. Oh
It's
my
just
god.
Bernard.
Oh,
Protect that man at all costs. Damn it.
please,
Yeah.
please. If anything happens to Rose or Bernard, I will quit the show.
I know. Last time we saw them, they were running from flaming arrows. So who knows?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So it makes sense that they weren't military. They're actually the others. That's why they shot them with flaming arrows.
Yeah.
Hmm. Damn. Yeah, man. This is nuts. Okay, let me see. Let's go through the notes here. Yep. Already talked about this. Yep. Already talked about it. Damn it, Lost. Damn it, Charlotte. Let's talk some BTS here. That means behind the scenes. Apparently, Jeremy Davis, or Davies, who plays Faraday, he actually studied math and physics for this role. So the equations in Dan's books are actually his.
Oh, really?
Yeah, interesting.
That that's cool.
Here's a more interesting one. Josh Holloway and Terry O'Quinn are the only two main cast members from season 1 to appear in this episode.
Wow.
Look how far we've come, man. Like, look at that. Like, we started off with like a cast of like main cast of like 10, and
Mm-hmm.
not that they're the only two left, but like we're still able to have this episode with so many storylines and so many characters bobbing and weaving each other, and there's only two
Mm-hmm.
of the OG characters in it. Like,
That's wild.
that's crazy, man. I love that. That's cool. So I just thought I should bring that up. Uh, yeah. Not much more than that, dude. So who are we thinking for MVP?
I feel like I gotta give it to Faraday on
Me
this one.
too. I
Yeah.
think the writers they gave him a lot. Like he had a
Mm-hmm.
lot of screen time. He's I mean they're all calling him like he's their leader. So,
Mm-hmm.
he's definitely stepping up, taking charge.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like this actor. He's just so fascinating guy to watch. Jeremy Davies.
Jeremy Davies.
Yeah. Um all right, man. Predictions.
Mm, I don't know. That nuke is gonna come into play at some point.
Yeah.
I feel like it,
Hmm.
you know. And I hope it's not just the thing of like
They named
there's
the
a three.
episode after it.
Yeah, they named the episode after it, so it better, mean something.
Yeah.
This isn't gonna be like the freaking three-toed statue or whatever that I'm sure just we're never gonna know anything
Uh-huh.
about that. Yeah, no, I want yeah, I'm wondering if part of whatever is happening on the island is because of the nuke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder because like Faraday even says like back in that time, the military was testing all sorts of bombs in the South Pacific.
Mhm.
So was it
And
an
one of those bombs
accident?
created Godzilla.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
This could be it.
mhm.
Um,
Well, no, it's not because
Vincentzilla.
it's not because it never goes off.
Oh, that's true. It could have been. Could have had a giant Vincent out there.
Whoa.
Yeah. So the question is like, was it brought here deliberately to this island? Was it an accident? You know,
Mm,
the island's supposed to be pretty impossible to find.
hmm
Was it always that hard to find? Who knows? Like,
hmm
I don't know. All right, so we need to find out more about Jughead. That's your prediction.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see, man. I'm sure we'll find out next week. Because next week we're talking about season 5, episode 4, The Little Prince. Kate discovers that someone knows Aaron's true lineage.
Mm.
Meanwhile, the time skips on the island begin to get more dangerous.
Ooh. So this just popped in my head, but you said I'm sure we'll find out next week.
Mhm.
We should make a t-shirt of that.
That's our Lost Legacies t-shirt.
That's
I'm
our
sure we'll
last
find out
legacy
next week.
t-shirt. Yeah, I'm sure we'll find out next week.
I like that a lot, actually. That's good. Well, guys, we had fun. I had fun. I really enjoyed this episode. Sam,
I had fun talking to you about it.
Okay, there you go.
And
Okay.
that's what's more important.
That's
to
all
me.
that matters. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, okay, guys, hit us up. Hashtag Lost Legacies. I'm on Twitter at _Matt Jimenez and on Instagram at Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch.
And you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at Real. That's REEL Texas Weirdo. It's
Yeah,
still a thing.
it's still a thing. It's still going.
I'm surprised.
But fair warning, just found out if you ever decide to delete your threads, it will
Oh, yeah.
automatically delete your Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
Well,
man.
that's the thing. Like, you can't delete your threads unless you delete your Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if I don't know, Sam. You know me and commitment. I don't know. My one true enemy, my one true nemesis,
Oh boy.
commitment.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh geez.
yeah.
There's a whole season's worth of episodes for you in that arc. Oy.
If only I could commit myself to something or anything the way I commit myself to this podcast. We're already 100 and something episodes in.
I know.
Yeah.
Look how far we've come.
Look how far we've come. You, me, Josh Holloway, and Terry O'Quinn, man. It's the beginning.
Been here since the beginning.
Yeah, that's
We'll
right.
be here till the end.
I'm pretty sure we'll be here next week, too. We hope. Guys, thanks for joining us. Until next time, get lost.
Get lost.